One by one is easily the most inconsistent killer in the game. Oftentimes you might find yourself struggling to even kill one person with them dodging every single ability and attack you make. But other times you might find yourself absolutely dominating those lobbies with ease. Why is this? This is due to the strong reliance on abilities. So if you can't land your abilities, you will find yourself doing really bad. But if you do land them, you'll do really well. In this video, I'm going to try my best to explain 1X, how you can play him, and how you can do at least slightly better next time you touch him. With 1x1 being the current slowest killer in the game, you will have to learn your abilities to win. Yes, all killers require proper ability usage, but with killers like Jason and Cool Kid, they can probably eventually outstamina and outrun survivors with proper pathing, but 1x1, he will probably struggle to run on any survivor. That's why it's so punishing to not learn any abilities. Other than his sprint speed, he has normal killer stamina, gain, and loss. He has the second least amount of health at 1100, which of course you shouldn't worry about dying, but there's always that chance you encounter those types of people. Mass Infection is 1x1's first ability. 1x1 will be put into a little animation for about 2 seconds, and after like a couple seconds, he will launch a projectile out. This projectile travels at a mediocre pace and has a pretty wide hitbox. You cannot control if it goes up or down. If you successfully hit a survivor with it, it does 45 damage to the survivor and applies poison. Something else to note, if you hit a survivor up close with Mass Infection, it will do a little over 56 damage, but also give the survivor a major speed boost since obviously that damage is pretty massive, so the survivors have to have some chance to run away. The next ability I'm going to talk about is Entanglement. This is probably 1x1's most important ability, in my opinion at least. This ability puts you in a very short animation, I'm pretty sure it's 0.75 seconds, and you launch a fast, small projectile, which again you cannot control if it goes up or down, but if it hits a survivor, it will kind of lock them in place and force them to close tabs. It might be important to note that once a survivor escapes those tabs, they get a small speed boost. Once you hit the survivor, it does 10 damage and gives you speed 2 for 3 seconds. This is so you can catch up to them. Unstable Eye is your aura reading ability. You dig into your eye for a couple seconds, and once you finish, you can see the aura of all survivors for a couple seconds. You are also provided with blindness and speed. There's nothing much to this ability otherwise than just being your aura reading. You can sometimes use it in chase to catch up to people with speed 1. Rejuvenate for Rotten is his final ability. But it's pretty simple. You kill someone, you use the ability, you summon them as a zombie. You can kill these zombies for speed 1 for 10 seconds. But it's important to note, this ability has a very long cooldown. It's best used when you killed many people, or maybe you can use it at the beginning of the game, and then use it later in the game. One by one relies on two main things, prediction and game sense. All killers require this, but 1x1 is for sure the most dependent on this. When using abilities like Entanglement, you can't just shoot and expect it to hit. Some survivors will be dodging and avoiding it, so you need to predict their movement by having good game sense. You could probably outsmart a survivor with certain hits. In this example, I'm chasing my friend, and I am aware that he has enough game knowledge that he needs to dodge from Mass Infection. So I have to choose from shooting left, middle, or right, in which in this example I chose to shoot right, and what would you know? I was right, and it granted me a hit, or in this scenario, a kill. It's important to know this is purely an example, so do not use Mass Infection mid-chase. It loses you ground, and even if you still hit it, you have a chance to lose as a survivor. Of course, that's unless you're one-tap, in which I don't mind you using Mass Infection, just don't recommend it. If you are going to use anything mid-chase, I recommend you use Entanglement. This thing will lock them in place and give you ground on them. Something else great to note is that you counter Taff and Builderman really well. With your ranged abilities, you can one-tap and break sentries and anything else Taff related with one Mass Infection. So use this to your advantage and break any turrets you see from a distance. Another tip is that you can use Unstable Eye to see survivors and snipe them from a distance with Entanglement or Mass Infection. I prefer to snipe from Mass Infection, but the problem is it makes a loud noise and some survivors will be paying attention and dodge out of the way. With Entanglement though, it's completely silent. You can easily take 3-10 damage off survivors and also get that nice speed boost to them. Of course, with Rejuvenate the Rotten, all I can tell you is to kill your zombies during last man standing. If it's a last man standing, those zombies could be useful to you, but you're better off just getting that speed 1 to catch up to the survivor. My final word of advice? Practice. 1x1 requires proper game sense and game knowledge. By practicing, you will acquire this. As you practice, you may see yourself slowly improving with 1x1, and as you do, you'll begin to dominate those lobbies like I do. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or night.